It's terrible. I love it.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the second episode of It's Terrible, I Love It, the podcast where I show my friends terrible movies that I love. Today, we will be watching Family Ties Vacation, which is a movie kind of set in the Family Ties universe. I believe it came out in 1985 or 1986. It certainly is a time, so excited to see what non-Family Ties fans think of it. So, my name is Katie, and as always, my favorite movie is Say Anything.
Hi, my name is Lark, and my favorite movie, of course, is the hit Disney Channel original movie Lemonade Mouth, starring Bridget Mendler.
It's a very good movie. All right, so the cocktail that I have prepared today, I kind of was at a loss for what to call this one, because there aren't really any notable, quotes or anything from this movie, or, notable things, just more so, notable things that happen. So this is called An American Twink in London, because that's pretty much the plot of this movie. So it is iced Earl Grey tea, elderflower syrup, London dry gin, and blackberries for garnish.
Which fell to the bottoms of our drinks, unfortunately.
Yes. But you know what? Sometimes mistakes are made. And I think that can also be applied to this movie. Do I think this movie was a mistake? Maybe. But is it enjoyable to watch? At times. So, you've seen a couple episodes of Family Ties, right?
Yeah, I have. A few. The one where Alex gets addicted to speed.
Oh, the best episode. That's whenever I show people Family Ties, that's my go-to of what I show them, because it's the best episode. It's iconic.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I have seen a couple episodes.
Okay, so you're kind of familiar with the characters. Yes. And also probably familiar based on the stuff that I talk about.
Yes.
Yeah. So the last episode was a Michael J. Fox movie. This is also a Michael J. Fox movie. Very on brand for me. We also have a lot of John Cusack movies on the queue, so expect lots of Michael J. Fox and John Cusack content from this podcast. I'm also planning on doing Midnight Madness soon, which is also a Michael J. Fox movie, so I better do something else in between, because 3 Michael J. Fox movies in a row is a lot. So, knowing nothing about this movie other than the title, who's in it, probably the fact that it takes place in London, whatever, what do you think happens in this movie? What do you think these characters get up to?
I think they have, family shenanigans like they usually do in Family Ties. I think one thing, Alex is going to make a comment about how America won the Revolutionary War. Because I know that he's like that. I know he's a Republican, and that he would say something like that probably to a British person. I think I can't remember the rest of the family. Mostly I know about Nick.
This is pre-Nick, so unfortunately Nick is not in this movie because he was introduced literally 2 or 3 episodes after this movie came out, because this was the buffer between season 3 and season 4, and Nick was introduced beginning of season 4. I don't know, it was weird because the beginning of season 4 just introduced love interest. That was what it was, because it was a 2-parter with Alex and his girlfriend, who's played by his real life wife, which is Slay, and then Mallory and Nick. So I don't know. I guess they were feeling the love over on Family Ties the beginning of season 4.
Yeah. So most of what I've seen of Family Ties includes it's Alex being a Republican and Mallory and Nick conflicts. So I don't really know what else happens. But I do think that Alex will make a comment about the Revolutionary War, and I don't know. I think probably there will be some angry British people after them.
All right. Solid. Before we talk about the movie, Lark has suggested that I talk about my Family Ties exclusive, what do you call this? DVD organizer. It's one of those car CD players. It's pink and it's glittery. And the only thing in it is Family Ties. It's the entire series of Family Ties. That's a lie. It's not only Family Ties. There's one disc of Spin City starring Michael J. Fox. But yeah, the whole thing is just Family Ties. And the reason was because I lived in another country for a few months. On brand for this movie. Anyways, lived in another country for a few months, and I wanted to bring some DVDs with me, and literally the only thing I brought was Family Ties. So that's why, because I brought this binder thing, or whatever you want to call it, organizer, with just Family Ties, because that was the necessity for me. All right, and we are back after having watched Family Ties Vacation. Any initial thoughts, reactions you'd like to share first?
Unfortunately, I was wrong about the Revolutionary War comment, but he did, like, correct the history professor on the name of the war, so I'm going to take that as a win.
He did mention it, like, a couple times at least. Yeah. So, how do you feel about this movie?
I mean, I don't like the anti-communism.
Oh yeah, it definitely is like it fell victim to the like Red Scare propaganda of like the 80s with like Born on the 4th of July. This is also a prevalent theme in another movie I plan on covering, Hot Tub Time Machine. So
yeah, I don't like the part about the unpronounceable Eastern European last name. That hurts me as a Slav. There's when they're interrogating the spy man who in this movie it's a spy plot, and I should have like thought of that because like James Bond and England and stuff, and I didn't, but whatever.
Yeah, my notes, the first thing I wrote down is, like, literally at the very first inkling of a spy, Lark went, is this gonna be James Bond?
Uh-huh.
And it is. It's James Bond, but worse.
Much worse.
Much worse. Also, Mallory having a headshot as her passport photo is iconic.
Iconic.
But also, I don't think that's legal, because... personal anecdote. I went to get my passport photo taken, and I sent it in, and they sent me a letter that they rejected my passport because my photo I had on, quote unquote, applied facial decoration. And they made me retake my passport photo. So I had to pay to get them taken again. Which is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, because if you're going to be at the airport, you're going to have on your makeup, and
yeah.
So the people are gonna look at your passport photo and be like, who the fuck is this?
Also, like, it wasn't even like that elaborate. Like,
okay, yeah,
like it wasn't like enough to like obscure my face. I don't know, I have beef with the passport, the government, for that.
I have beef with the government for lots of reasons.
That's fair. Another thing is Lark pointing out the airline/airport inaccuracies.
Yes. Okay. So as a child, I was very interested in planes, commercial aviation, all of that. So it says, they say on like the loudspeaker that they're going to be flying into London Gatwick, which international flights, if I recall correctly, don't really go through Gatwick. They go through Heathrow, which is the other airport in London. However, this movie's set in the 80s, so like maybe it was different back then. I don't know, but like, yeah, so that was odd to me.
Another thing regarding that was it's the 80s. Why is no one smoking on the airplane?
Why is nobody smoking on the airplane? My parents told me all about my mom doesn't smoke, but my dad does. So he would tell me all about how like he used to be able to smoke on planes. You know, obviously Alex and his family, they're an upstanding American family. They would never do that, but like,
he does smoke a pipe in this movie, though.
He does. Well,
I guess he doesn't smoke it. He's seen with a pipe multiple times, but I think he just thinks it makes him look cool.
Yes, he just puts it in his mouth. Like, he's not actually smoking. The pipe also looks too big for his head.
He does have a very large head, though. I don't know. I think Mallory was right in that episode where she gave him body dysmorphia about his head.
No, I agree, and we'll get into that later when we discuss some other things.
Okay, I have a very pressing issue. This is a mystery that needs to be solved.
Okay.
Is boy pile a real... Okay, I swear, I made a joke during the movie when, like, they're, like, playing rugby and they all pile on top of each other. I was like, boy pile! And I swear that was a thing that I, like, saw somewhere, like, in, like, a TikTok or something, and I could not find it anywhere on the internet. So did I just, like, dream up the concept of boy pile? Or is that a real thing? And if it's not a real thing, I think it should be one.
We would really like to know because I can't stop saying boy pile.
Boy pile!
Yeah, so, like, and yeah, I think it should be a thing. I think it should be a thing that you say when, like, your dad's watching football and they all pile on top of each other.
That's what sports is, just a bunch of boy piles.
Pile. Yeah, so I think that boy pile, if it's not a thing, it should be.
Okay, editor's note. I discovered that boy pile is from the Dead Meat episode on Sleepaway Camp. Their kill count episode on Sleepaway Camp. So that's where boy pile originates. That's where I got it from. But it was just living in my subconscious, I think. Also, I realized that this movie and Stuart Little, which also stars Michael J. Fox, both have, like, climactic boat race scenes.
Yes, they do. I don't really remember the Stuart Little movie that well, so I can't really speak to that, but that is very true, yeah.
Yeah. And then also the two, like, Russian spies in this movie are 100% lovers.
I also agree with this. Also, their accents are more, like, German, but this, again, 1980, so they could be they're East German, I think they're supposed to be, because, like, that is not a Russian accent.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, that's fair. Lark pointed out there's a stock sound effect of a honk in this movie that is the same honk that is played in the Magic School Bus theme song.
It is. It's the, you know,
seatbelts, everyone.
Seatbelts, everyone.
And the last thing I wrote down is a quote from Lark that is, time is not linear in this movie.
No, so it's not, because, okay, before the plot important boat race scene, they're, like, trying to get this hairbrush, which is important, to, like, they're trying to keep it safe. They can't let the bad guys get it. Long story. Anyway, so the bad guys leave one location to try and get to Alex. Then the next, shot, we see them arriving there, going after Alex. Meanwhile, his parents are, like, trying to get there, and they don't leave until after the bad guys have already gotten to the secondary location with Alex. And it's, I don't understand it. How, like, why didn't you leave sooner?
There also are, like, a lot of montages in this movie. Yes. Like, at least, like, 4. Which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready for the discussion questions?
Yes.
My first question for you. Does Alex deserve rights?
Absolutely not. And I don't think he deserves rights. Well, okay. I think it was mean of them to bully him. But I don't think he deserves rights. Not in this movie and not in the rest of Family Ties.
Correct answer. Name at least one example of Mallory being a girl boss. A hashtag girl boss.
Hashtag girl boss. No, that's not really her being a girl boss. I was thinking of when she teaches the British boy, her British boy lover, she teaches him the cheer, and then he teaches it to all of his servants. But that's not really a Mallory girl boss moment. I think when they when they convince their parents to, like, let them go sightseeing on their own, and then they just go back to their hotel room, that's Mallory and Jennifer. But
that's a girl boss move. Some other girl boss moves I noticed were the passport photo being a headshot, definitely girl boss move.
Yes.
Asking if they have toast in England, that's a girl boss move. 100%.
Yes.
Also, I just feel like the concept of like falling in love with like going on vacation and then falling in love with like an earl is like that's main character moment.
I have one. The fact, this isn't said by Mallory directly, but the fact that she asked Alex if America could become a British colony again.
Yeah. Okay. My next discussion question is, this movie is never referenced in the show. Like, the events of this movie are never referenced. Do you think the events of this movie exist in the Family Ties canon, or are they just some, like, weird fever dream?
Well, I did say that, like, I don't think this movie exists in linear time, as evidenced by the scene and all of the montages. So I would say maybe not. Maybe this is a sort of, like, I don't know what you would call it, really. Like, they got stuck in an alternate timeline for a while.
This is like an alternate universe, a parallel timeline.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. I can't think of any good examples in media, but that could very well be the case, especially since time is a little bit weird.
So this movie is evidence for the what's that like conspiracy theory where the multiverse theory.
The multiverse, the many worlds hypothesis.
Yeah. So this movie exists in the multiverse.
The Family Ties cinematic universe, if you will. Yeah. No, I love that this boy that Mallory falls in love, I'm doing air quotes with.
Yeah, they knew each other for like a week and then she never saw him again. So
and he's just like, "Oh, I love you so much. I'm going to come visit you." No, I think actually maybe this movie does exist in Family Ties canon, and he like tragically died.
He died before he could come to Ohio
and see Willie Mays.
I don't know who Willie Mays is. Alex is like, he's one of the greatest baseball players of all time. Okay, how come I've never heard of him? Huh?
I'm not into baseball, so
yeah, neither am I.
Way.
But like, I feel like if he were like the greatest of all time, I would at least have heard of him.
No, yeah.
Like I know Babe Ruth and I know
Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, like I know like the big boys.
Yeah.
So I feel like Willie Mays was really like so great, then I would have heard of him.
I guess maybe he's like, I don't know who a big baseball boy of the 2010s, 2020s is.
I don't know. I think the only like current baseball player I know is Joe Mauer. And I don't know if he's even still playing. He might be retired.
I think he's retired.
Okay.
But maybe he's the Joe Mauer of the 80s. Like, everyone knew who he was then.
But honestly, I don't know if people even know who Joe Mauer is, like, outside of Minnesota.
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Baseball?
Yeah, I don't know. We're not getting into baseball because I don't understand anything about it.
Me neither. Okay,
next question. Which outfits are more iconic? Alex's twink looks or Mallory's Princess Diana vibes?
I'm gonna go with option 3 and go with the roommate's twink looks. And like similar, I think he has they're goofy as heck, but like first of all, I think it's like with Jesse from Breaking Bad where he's wearing so many layers that I'm like, that's some energy right there.
The trans mask energy.
The trans mask energy of this boy and like the father not loving him, that's themes. So I do love Mallory, especially there's a pink outfit that she was wearing that had like a little like long jacket.
Oh, during the like croquet sequence.
Yes. I love that. Alex, he's just a dude from Ohio. Sorry.
I did enjoy that the Earl, whatever, I don't even remember his name because I don't know. Anyways, the like Earl, I know at least had one ascot on at some point, and I always respect a good ascot.
Absolutely.
As Fred Jones has taught me.
Absolutely. And I do too.
Love a good ascot. All right. The next question. There are 3 questions left. The next question. Do you think Alex would be the type of person to constantly bring up the fact that he studied abroad? Like he'd like pepper it into conversation, be like, "Oh, when I studied in England, they didn't call it a glass of beer; they called it a pint."
Well, he had such a bad time though.
Oh, I guess that's fair.
Like,
But he probably wants to seem like cool and cultured.
yeah. Oh, true, because in the letter he wrote to his parents, like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely, he would just lie about
Yeah,
it.
he would just make up lies and be like, "Oh, I was like best friends with an earl."
Yeah, exactly. When like he's your roommate, he's getting with your sister, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. What song would you choose to score the bizarre fight scene at the end of the movie? It is the weirdest fight scene I've ever seen in a movie. So many powdered wigs and robes a flying.
Well, okay, so now, and I've introduced myself, but the fact of the matter is that I study classical music, and that's what I'm going to be doing for a living. So that's immediately what my mind turns to, and it sort of made me think of like the can theme.
Oh yeah.
Like if I may
Yeah.
play it.
Go ahead. It's been in the canon for long enough. I'm not going to get copyright
Oh
claims.
no, absolutely no! It's public domain. Hold on. Can.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I could see that because it's just so chaotic and farcical.
No, it's not gonna play an ad. This is where they're like sneaking into the room.
Oh yeah. And then the tension builds.
And then they're like starting to fight and stuff.
Oh yeah, I can definitely envision it.
And then there'll be here. I have a vision. This is like where the chase portion of it starts.
When
where
they
they're
like
chasing
leave
him
the
around.
room and they're like, someone gets hit by a car.
Yes, exactly. So where they're like, yeah,
I can definitely see it. What's the title of the piece?
it's just called Can from Orpheus in the Underworld.
Ah, I didn't know that's what that was from.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's really nothing else from that opera survived, but that's a whole other story. Like, it didn't not survive as in we don't know it, but nobody really cares.
Yeah, it was a flop.
Yes.
Okay, my last question. This one did kind of come up while we were watching the movie, but where the hell was Jennifer for all of this? Because she is like barely in the movie.
She is. So we established from the one montage that she was feeding the cows. That wasn't the mom. That was Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think she was just still feeding the cows. Like, she didn't. Nobody told her that it was like time to leave.
That was the dream.
So.
Oh yeah, you don't see her on the airplane at the end. They leave her in London. No. Oh my god.
You don't see Mallory.
Home Alone
like,
4, Jennifer Keaton lost in London.
She's. I don't know. No, you don't see her on the plane. They forgot her.
They left Jennifer in London.
That's okay. She's having a good time. But we need to like get her back because Alex will get too like conceited if she's not there to like yell
That's
at
true.
him.
He needs her to humble him.
Exactly.
There's a parody of Family Ties they did on SNL. It's so funny. But the joke about Jennifer is that literally the only time they have her speak is she like just like nods her head and goes, "Yeah." And that's the only time she speaks in all of the scenes.
That's not...
It's true though.
But like that, except if she were to make some like snarky comment at
Yeah.
Alex.
She has some one-liners. She has some
Uh-huh.
good one-liners. One of my favorite Family Ties one-liners is from her, and it's, "I'm here for the pizza, not the company."
Exactly. She knows the vibes.
She does. There's another moment too where she's like talking to someone, and she's like, oh, do you want to go upstairs and listen to my blues records? And Mallory's like, Jennifer, you don't have any blues records. All you have are the Muppets. And she's like, well, they sing the blues if you play at the wrong speed.
That's so true. Also, I imagine that this was common, but I love the concept of owning the Muppets on vinyl.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely. I love John Denver, and I always listen to his, like...
John Denver and the Muppets Christmas
I was gonna say, I
special!
always listen to his Christmas songs around Christmas time, and then it's just randomly, like, the Muppets singing in the background, and I love it.
No, I can't think about the John Denver and the Muppets Christmas special, because it'll make me emotional, but, like...
Fair.
Yeah. I totally with you there. John Denver and Ralph the dog. Sound of the winter.
Sound of the season.
Exactly.
Yes. Soundtrack of Christmas.
100%.
You know how there's like that joke just like, oh, Christmas belongs to her, of like Mariah Carey.
Yes.
No, Christmas belongs to Rolf the dog and John Denver.
Yep. Exactly. Rolf the dog and John Denver. Rest in peace, John Denver. Did you know that John Denver's wife, like...
Oh, she's from Minnesota, right?
And she went to Gustavus, which is
Slay.
where I go to college. So,
Slay.
kind of a flex.
I don't think anyone that cool went to my college.
Nobody else. The dad from Diary of a Wimpy Kid went to my college.
Steve Zahn?
Except...
No, I love Steve
No,
Zahn.
wait, but he dropped out. He dropped out, so,
Gustavus was too big for
it
Steve
was-
Zahn. Or no, Steve Zahn was too big for Gustavus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's literally what happened.
Yeah, I love Steve Zahn though. But yeah, Minnesota King.
Yeah.
All right. So, last part. What would you rate this movie out of 10? I'll let you go first because I feel like I have complicated thoughts towards this movie.
I have complicated thoughts too. Like, what out of 10 on what scale? Because there's so many different ones.
I would say, like, how much you enjoyed it. Like, 10 being, like, I had the time of my life watching this movie.
Well, that's different because I did have a really good time. But, like, it is not a good movie.
Yeah. For reference, I think I would give it, like, a 5.5 out of 10 or a 6.
I was gonna say, yeah, like a 6 out of 10. Solid 6 out of 10. Bonus points for, like, Mallory's outfits and such. Minus points for the, like, Red Scare
Yeah.
stuff.
Propaganda.
That picture of Josh Peck. That picture of Josh Peck where he's saying Megan.
Reagan.
Which I know that Alex is, like, all about being a conservative and stuff, so whatever, but...
Alex
Keaton.
Alex P. Keaton. Don't forget the P.
What does the P stand for?
I was gonna say, they never elaborate on what the P stands for. And...
I shouldn't say it.
They I'm Alex Petus Keaton. I made a Valentine, like a, you know those like Comic Sans Valentines.
Yes.
I made one once that says like the P in Alex P Keaton stands for Pussy Destroyer.
But he gets no bitches. That's the
Yeah,
thing.
that's true. Absolutely zero play. But okay, so his parents wanted to name him Freedom P. Keaton, which leads me to believe the P stands for, like, peace or something. Like, something stupid.
Patriot. Fucking probably it is Patriot.
No, but he's named by Elise and Steven. So, like...
Oh, true.
I feel like he would tell people the P stands for Patriot.
But it's
like peace, or... I don't know. I can't think of another word that starts with a P that's like hippie.
That's good, yeah. Positivity.
Pete Seeger. Alex Pete Seeger Keaton.
That's his darkest secret as a young conservative.
He's related to Pete Seeger.
He's not even related. He's just like, it's part of his name.
Yeah, there are like a lot of scenes where like Elise and Steven will like be with their like old friends from college and they're like all singing like Bob Dylan songs and everyone else is just so disgusted by the fact that they're singing Bob Dylan songs.
Did you know that my grandma when she was in college, Bob Dylan would like perform at cafes around Minneapolis, and my grandma is also a conservative, and she was like, he wasn't very good.
He's not, though.
Not.
I have a deep hatred for Bob Dylan.
I know this. I know this about you. And
I went on a journey. I used to love him, and then realized he's not a good person.
He's not a good person, but also his music is not great.
Yeah, he can't sing. That's why I listen to the Joan Baez covers of his songs.
Period.
Because she can actually sing.
Period.
Just saying. And she actually, like, you know, actually did work.
Yeah.
She was in the trenches.
She was literally fighting for our rights.
That was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed. No one was killed at Stonewall.
No one was killed. No one was killed at Stonewall.
Derek Barry, American treasure.
God.
All right. Any last thoughts on Family Ties Vacation?
Family Ties Vacation. I think that they should make a woke 2022 reboot of Family Ties.
Wait. I have. I need to read my
also
thing.
We need to talk about Ben Shapiro and Alex being the same person.
That's so funny because that's literally on my thing. I have a note on my phone that's like modern Family Ties. It's titled 2021 Family Ties because that's when I wrote it.
Uh-huh.
So, Alex is a Ben Shapiro and Elon Musk stan, would be really into Bitcoin, and would be horribly offended by WAP. Do you remember when the whole WAP thing happened?
I do remember that.
Condemns women for having OnlyFans, but would watch so much free porn privately. He is on Pornhub 24/7.
I'm nodding vigorously.
He routinely gets into public arguments, especially with Mallory on Twitter. I just like picture like him and Mallory beefing on Twitter, and then Jennifer's just in the replies telling them both to shut the fuck up.
Jennifer in the replies like, one of you like left the toilet seat up.
Go clean the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
And then lastly, he replies nor Mal when people ask for his pronouns. There's a quote in an episode that's like so much like the of course you have blue hair and pronouns meme, because like he's talking to Nick, and
oh, of course, Nick,
yeah.
he, they, modern.
Oh yeah.
Ties.
Yeah. He's like talking to Nick, and Nick is like oh, I know a lot of people have purple hair. I don't remember how it came up in conversation, but Nick was like, oh no, I have a lot of friends that have purple hair, and Alex was like, normal people don't have purple hair. And I was like, that's literally the like, of course you have blue hair and pronouns.
No, yeah.
All right, and then Mallory is a girl boss, and she's part of an MLM, but she obviously does not know that it's an MLM. She like fully thinks that she's like a businesswoman.
Yes.
She also tries to get Jennifer and Elise to join her MLM. And she runs a Taylor Swift stan account on Twitter. And she's really into astrology and crystals. There's an episode where like she's like telling people what their auras are, and she like goes to Alex and she's like, "That's so weird. You don't have an aura." Soulless.
Yes. Okay.
Steven has a okay. This is me. But he has a podcast that he thinks is really cool and deep, but only has like 2 listeners.
Whoa.
On me.
Just got really meta here on It's Terrible, I Love It.
And then he has an Instagram where he uploads selfies, but you know the like old man selfies that are just like the top of the head?
Yes.
Skippy. Okay, Skippy simps for women on Twitter. He's a reply guy.
Will you remind me who Skippy is?
He's Alex's friend that's like a little dorky
Is he the one who's,
boy.
like, a little gay?
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Yes. So he simps for women on Twitter. He watches solely female Twitch streamers, and he spends his time on Reddit. And he's in a Dungeons and Dragons league? Is that what you call it? Group? He's in a Dungeons and Dragons group, but he always does very poorly. Like, he's always rolling, like, 1s and 2s for everything.
Got it.
Nick is the offline boyfriend to Mallory's terminally online girlfriend. Male wife,
exactly.
and then likes to watch Cocomelon for the shapes and colors.
There is a Germa video where he just does that and it freaks him out.
That part was based on a dream, because this one time I had a dream that I, like, caught Nick Family Ties watching Cocomelon, and I was like, why are you watching Cocomelon? He's like, I like the shapes and colors.
I wish I had dreams like that.
Yeah. Jennifer is a popular TikToker on queer TikTok.
I was gonna say, is Jennifer is, like, gay in this review.
Yeah. Oh,
right?
yeah, 100%. And then I also wrote that Jennifer is a frog, they, them.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like a they, them that's obsessed with frogs.
The frog thing?
What?
We need to talk about the frog thing.
Oh my god! There's a scene in this movie when Mallory is like, I've never kissed an earl before, or a prince before, or whatever. And he's like, what, are you afraid I'll turn into a frog? And then they kiss, and then he doesn't like mimic a ribbit, he just goes, ribbit. And it's so uncomfortable.
I thought it was funny, but Katie...
It gave me immense ick. And then lastly, Elise had she, her in her bio on Instagram, which she primarily uses to share what's going on and how you can help infographics on her story.
Oh my god. Elise's Instagram, my band director, I have two of them, and they're married. And one of them, her Instagram, which is, it's, again, what's going on and how you can help. It's like pictures of her going to vote and going to donate blood and going to and like encouraging others to do the same, and then like heavily filtered pictures of her cats and her children.
Oh yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, that's what I imagine. Like, that's the vibes I get from Elise from this movie.
Yeah, absolutely, that's correct. Now, are there any last thoughts?
I don't think so. I had a lot of fun. Also, the cocktail was really good.
Thank you.
I generally do not like Earl Grey tea, but I guess I like it with gin.
Yeah. Would I recommend this movie? I don't know. Watch it if you like Family Ties.
Yeah.
If you don't care about Family Ties, it's not worth it.
I would not. If you want to watch all the rest of Family Ties, then go ahead, but
this is like when you watch the whole series of something and then there's a void and you want more content from that series, so you watch the movie.
Yeah. and I haven't seen all of Family Ties, but I have seen a little bit and I know through you.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch this movie, you should watch it with Katie.
Specifically with me.
Yeah. Or someone else, if someone else who knows a lot about Family Ties.
Yeah. Downside of this movie is it doesn't have Skippy or Nick in it, which is disappointing.
Sad.
But this was pre-Nick, so whatever. But it would have been fun if Skippy had tagged along at some point somehow. Who knows? All right. Until next time. Bye.